Hey everyone, it is Tuesday, June 3rd, and I am back with another live with JMD from the studio. Not with Cirilla. She's already left for the day. She's over in the bedroom sleeping. She was up here just a little while ago. Ooh, she heard me call her. How we doing, Rel? Okay, everyone, welcome to the show. Yeah, I figured out that I could keep it running on Facebook for another couple of shows. So we're going to go through number 70. 70 is right before I go to, what is that? Heroes Con. So what do we got this month? I got New Jersey Inkfest just finished up. It was half in May, half in June. Then I got Steampunk Alchemy Fest down in Bud Lake, New Jersey at Vass Park, right? After that, I'm going to be at the Blair County Center in Altoona, Pennsylvania for Sci-Fi Valley Con. Charlotte Convention Center the weekend after that for Heroes, and then finishing up at Garden State Comic Fest in the new location at the Cody Arena. So anyway, yeah, that's all the shows coming. New Jersey Ink Fest was interesting. I don't know what went wrong with it, but not for me, just for everyone. There weren't a lot of people out there. Had a couple of fans come by, which was nice to see them. Got to see some friends and stuff, but yeah, not a lot going on as far as people attending it, but that's all right. I got to see a few friends and stuff, so there's always a silver lining in them. Sorry, I got Thrilla's hair all over my whatchamacallit already. Anyway, even though I am able to still do these from Facebook and YouTube at the same time, don't forget that, yes, my StreamYard, annual, why can't I think of that word? Subscription. Yeah, it's coming to an end. So with that, I won't be able to stream to multiple platforms. And that means that Facebook and YouTube will not be going simultaneously. So I will be posting exclusively to YouTube. So if you're not already subscribed there, please make sure you do. Again, I'm only going to be doing these until episode 70. And this one's 68. And then I'm going to be going down to once a month. And I've stated it before. Big reason is just because I'm doing shows every weekend. I've been having some success on Whatnot. Is that in here? Is that in my list of things? It does not seem to be. It does not seem to be. But anyway, yeah, you can find me on Whatnot. I do live commissions there and everything. It's just, I hate to say it, still got to pay the bills. And, well, I'm making money over on Whatnot. So, speaking of which, though, there are some pieces that I've been working on, both on Whatnot on the stream here. You can see them right now. First was the X-Men one, which people have seen coming together on this stream. I've hit it with some workable fixative and then a coating for UV protection. Same thing with the shadow piece, which Cirilla is very much trying. That's why it's got that sheen to it. Been letting it dry a bit, so excuse that. And the Gunslinger Spawn, which I still got to go in with some acrylic paint over there, but I can wait on that. Simultaneously, I've been working on some other toned images, because actually this one, I thought I was going to do it with mostly acrylics, but it turned out to be dominantly colored pencil I used with some acrylics. So chances are I'm going to do the rest of them in the same way, because I'm just it turned out pretty good. I really like that one. And I've never drawn Gunslinger Spawn before, so that's like a first. So what I have been working on is some layouts for a horror comics piece, which I might still redo it. Because these are the toned paper ones. So I got the Ghost Rider one here. Okay. I do still have that deceased Batman going. Okay. Yeah, I might redo it. I was gonna do a Dracula, but now I might do a Carmilla. Just because I'm still trying to do a little bit more women in my pieces. And I've been working mostly on this Red Sonja and Vampirella one, which I haven't touched since last week. I might not be touching this week because this cat's right here. She's good though. Anyway, yeah, so those are all on the table right now. What do you think, Sorella? You think we can get some work done? Or are you just gonna fight me? Fight me, fight me, fight me, fight me. Fight me for some actually let's move these over. What should we put up? Shadow? No. I think the Gunslinger Spawn is the best one to have up there. All right, Ralph. I need you to skedaddle, maybe? Would be good if you did. Anyway, I have to fix Vampirella's hand over here anyway. I made it just a little too large. Even though they are in... Oh my God, Sarah, you're just like... Can I get in here to do some work here, maybe? So the idea with this one is that all of the shadows are going to be in the red background of the piece. So it's requiring a lot of planning and drawing out shapes and stuff like that. Again, if I can get the cat out of my way. That's right, I called you the cat, Sorella. I called you the cat. Freezing up the camera, Bill. Freezing up the camera. All right, so. Now I might work on this one for a bit and then switch over to the other ones, but still I want to get a little somewhere with it as it stands. It might not be a good idea to keep the blank ones next to me because I just can't, well, semi-blank, the ones that I'm not working on just because I can't quite, I don't know, will it stay? If I put this on, I'm so used to not having, it's too thick. It's way too thick. I'm so used to not having this right here because I don't work with that on my in my way all the time. All right. Well, let's see. Yes. No, because that won't be using that. That'll be a completely different line over there. It's going to be interesting seeing this come together. It's interesting because the way the lines go down on this paper has a different feel to it. They don't quite, they feel like they're going to just slide right off. Like, I don't know how to describe that, but almost like it's, I might move this camera just a little bit, but it almost looks like it's going to just like smear because it doesn't adhere to the page that well. Might be better so you guys can get a better view of what's going on there. Let's remove that banner though. Get it out of the way. Okay. See, now I don't like that pencil. It's too, oh yeah, I was going to show that off too, and now I don't know where it is. What did I do with that little piece of paper? Usually I do like a sketch in my sketchbook, but that was just a scrap paper that I did this pose on because I laid it out a couple of times and I did not like how it looked. So, yeah, no. Oh, Cyrilla, please don't. At the moment, not a good time. Not a good time at the moment. So, yeah. Skulls might be a little cliche, but that's okay because that's what I'm doing. I don't really care. I was worried, not worried, but I was wondering how many of these I was going to get done in time for Heroes, if I'm lucky. I could get just about all of them done. There are a few that are like, I would say lower priority, but you know, I also have Garden State Comic Fest afterwards. So, and actually, that is a show where people look for commissions and look for original artwork. Although I got a booth this time for that show. I wonder how that's going to go for me. But I'm trying out some new things this year. So anyway, yeah, well, 4 people already. Stuff should have stayed in. He just kind of came and left. Mr. Steph Wilson. See, the thing is, I don't want to make these quite masterpieces. Well, I mean, I want them to be my best work that I can do on these pieces, but I also want them to be representative of what someone should expect from a sketch cover or commission of these sizes and details for the prices I'm going to be selling them for. So I do want to spend a good amount of time on them, but not quite like I'm doing an actual cover. Although, man, what I wouldn't give, honestly, to do a Red Sonja cover or something like that. It's funny, I keep saying that. Like, you know, there are some companies I would really like to do work for. And then there's other ones that, you know, I'll take it if I can get it. But yeah, I've been trying to put out feelers for how to get in at Dynamite. It just doesn't seem like I can get straight answers, at least from my artist friends. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they're just dishonest because they don't want the competition. I don't know. I just know that that can be a thing. It's not the way I do things, but everyone does their own thing. I mean, I'd prefer working on Red Sonja over Vampirella, but I would certainly do either of them if the opportunity came my way. My hair is giving me more trouble than I would expect. Thing is, it's long enough that I could tie it back, but I just don't prefer that look so much anymore. I used to have that when I was much younger. All right, so what do I do here? For some reason, I seem to be like missing what the shadows would be on this one. Maybe I just gotta go in and like worry about the man. That's a little bit risky, but we're gonna try it out. Let's see. Start with Vampirella. Eggshell. How is that for a color? Might be too dark for her. How's cream looking versus eggshell? Yeah, cream's gonna be better. All right. Let's see. So how is Empty Fest? I mean, Ink Fest. Well, you saw how it was, Rob. I talked about it at the beginning. I do appreciate you and Lauren coming by, but I feel bad that you came out for that. You, my friend Jason, who you saw me talking to at one point, and David San all came out, stopped by my table, and yeah, I'm just sorry I didn't pick a good one this time. I don't know. It could have been the location. I feel like those guys were promoting it, but I don't know what happened. I really, really have no idea why it went the way it did. I mean, it was their first year show, so I'm not going to be I'm not upset about it. I've been having a bunch of good shows, so occasionally you're going to hit something that just is not as lucrative, but I was just surprised. I was surprised that it went the way it did. It was just for anyone, Rob was there, but for anyone watching or listening or whatever, now or in the future, Inkfest was just not very well attended. And, I don't pretend to know what goes on behind the scenes. I know promoters work hard at what they do. maybe some don't, but I don't try to assume why a show didn't go well or why people didn't show up to it. I just think it's, on one hand, I think it's wasted time. I mean, it is what it is and what happened happened. But also, we go into this with some risks. Any artist and any creator, but I do feel like it's on the show to bring the people in. So, oh man, I forgot to do that hand. That's the one thing I said I was going to do first, and I didn't. This is me just throwing caution to the wind again and going right in there without overthinking how this is going to come out. Gotta say, I like working this way, though. Just not thinking about it too much. Planning, but then just having the confidence again to go in. I feel like I was losing that for a bit. Anyway, yeah, Inkfest. I don't know. Would I go back? I think if they chose a different location, I'd give it another shot. I'm never gonna just cut somebody off on one show unless it's like AC Celebrity Con where the promoters were definitely did not have their act together. But I would have to see what would happen. Those guys, the promoters for NJ Inkfest did seek me out and invite me. And you know what? That goes a long way with me. I can't get half the promoters to pay attention to the fact that I'm even at their show. So I do appreciate when someone recognizes me and asks me to come. So, that's an interesting thing. I only saw the last word there, parking. So that's an interesting thing that happened, Rob. And I don't know if I told you at the time, but from what I understand, and I found this out early on Sunday, so I didn't even know about it on Saturday. But apparently the venue, which is another reason why I think these guys should find another place to go. Apparently the venue laid that on them at the last minute. There was no agreement that there would be paid parking for the event. And then they just, the Iron whatever facility just decided that they were going to charge for parking. So, and I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that that's what happened. That it was a last minute addition, and the vendors didn't have to pay to park, or I would say I wouldn't have done it anyway. I would have told the event to, well, not the event, the place to suck an egg, because you can't do that. You can't just have people showing up and then last minute tell them they're going to have to pay to park. It's kind of grimy. So that probably hurt them to a certain extent, but I don't think it was the only factor. Again, I don't know all the ins and outs of what was going on. I just know that that was one thing I had heard was that the venue hit them with it at the last minute. And allegedly we're asking for money on Saturday too. There was a guy at the parking facility when I was leaving on Saturday, but I don't know why he was there. Well, I do know why he was. I didn't know why he was there at the time, and wasn't about to give him my money for the parking. Ain't gonna happen. But yeah, I did find out they were doing that, and I was hoping that they were gonna stop doing it before everyone started showing up. Apparently not the case. I think this will show up. This color. On that red background. God, I hate the way StreamYard is doing this now. Inkfest might do better in a large hotel in the ballrooms or other rooms. That open hangar area didn't work. It actually wasn't a hangar. I know it looked like it, but those were basketball courts. You know, because it was a sports facility. But yeah, it definitely didn't work. I think they would be better off in another location. I do hope it goes well. Like I've only been at 2 shows where one where I had an argument with the promoter. It was this guy. Oh God, I can't remember his name now. It was for the Newark Comic-Con. It's on my site somewhere. You could like scroll it, and I go into it's. I think the guy's name was Charles something. He was such, for lack of a better term, an AH. I didn't care if I burned a bridge with him. He was getting an earful, and told him I'd never do one of his shows again. And the only other time was the AC Celebrity Con, where I felt like it wasn't the help. Like there were a bunch of people helping, friends of mine and people I've known from the convention circuit. You know, and they did a fine job, but the promoters themselves were not professional. Staff was fine, but anyway, those are the only 2 times where I just I never want to see those people on the convention circuit again. Any other promoter, whether it didn't work out or whatever, I'm not gonna hold a grudge. So again, I'm just saying, I don't know what went wrong. I hope they're able to take notes from this one and figure it out for maybe the next time they try to do one. But you're right. It didn't work where it was. It can be hard with hotels sometimes. I don't know that they are always cooperative, and some hotels are not into having conventions at them. Sometimes some just event spaces don't want conventions at them. I'm finding out with a little project I'm a part of right now. Nothing coming soon though. Maybe next year, but that's why there's so many factors that go into it. I mean, look at the event. That's why I see a lot of people, they'll complain to promoters about stuff, but it's like, look at what happened this weekend. The promoters did not ask for a charge for the parking. That was the venue. And the venue stuck them with it at the end. I'm not saying that there weren't other issues, but that's one of the reasons why a lot of times I just say, well, when my friends are, and well-meaning, but they're trying to figure out what went wrong, and I feel like fans can do it. A lot of people just make assumptions, and I'm not saying you're doing that, Rob. I'm just talking out loud. I just, you don't know. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes a lot of the time. It's just when you can evidently see. I wouldn't, there's something like at the Atlantic City show, that Celebrity Con, the staff was easy to find and easy to talk to. The promoters hid most of that show. The promoters at the Inkfest were not hiding. They were walking the floor and everything, It's not like they weren't visible and present. Which I appreciate, even if your show's going bad, you can't just, you can't bounce. You have to take it, and sometimes, there's going to be people that are mad at you, but what are you going to do? I think even a good show, you're going to have people mad at you. I know some of those. So what are we looking for? Looking forward to Cody Arena. Yeah, Menon was really good, but it's really funny. I thought that the Menon was closer to me, and I'm not trying to, love how that orange is looking. I'm not trying to make it like, I was worried that the Cody Arena was further away, but actually it's, Cody Arena is 15 minutes closer. It's about a half hour from me, almost to the minute. So I can't say, at least distance wise, I'm upset about it. But the thing was with the Menon Arena, it was a good location as far as where it was, parking, all that stuff. Also, they had a lot of good local small chain restaurants. And when I say small chain, I mean just the area of only in New Jersey, maybe 3 locations. There was a Tiff's. I don't know if it's still there anymore. Tiffany's. Really great ribs there. And then the one place that Stephen Carrihan showed me was really good too. It's not Tommy Fox's. That's in Bergenfield. But I feel like the name's something like that. Well, we'll see how the Cody Arena works out. It might be better. I don't know. Again, I don't know what was going on with the Menon Arena, but I heard they weren't very cooperative, which is something I've been hearing about shows sometimes. There are some shows, and again, I'm speaking out of my butt because I don't really know. I'm not part of the planning group for that, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but just the rumor was that the Menon Arena was not very cooperative after a while. And that can be the death of a show as far as it going all right. 17 miles. Oh, so you're closer to the Cody Arena too. So hopefully it turns out to be better. I mean, I hope it does, you know. Dave's always put on good shows. I did feel the last show at the Menon Arena was a little underattended for what was a 10-year anniversary, but a lot of people were wondering if the weather didn't have something to do with it because it was so hot that weekend. I remember it was just really, really hot. So much so that I really was regretting being in the warm room. But once the ice situation was fixed, I didn't feel like I needed to be out of the warm room, out of the cold room. But why do I still feel like that looks so much bigger than the other one? Because it does. It just does. Getting crazy with that finger length. But see, then that doesn't look right to me. I don't want to overdo the erasing and then I lose all of the. All right. Just start from scratch here. Okay. Damn. I'm just should have left most of those lines where they were. Okay. If we're gonna go this way. Right. Maybe we just go a slightly different angle here. I think that would make more sense anyway. Something is very much bothering me about the way that looks. I think. Or have it in there. Maybe. I think that'll work better. Yes. Okay. Gotta let that dry a minute. All right, back to Red Sonia. All right, so need a skin tone of some sort here. Just hear me rummaging around in my sand. How's that looking? Probably better. Going to layer it with some red though. Or that's cream. We already decided cream was lighter than what was the other one? No, cream wasn't lighter. Cream was the in-between one. No. Oh, right. Eggshell was the in-between. How about that? Talking to myself. Hang on, everyone. All right. Here we go. Doing a lot of white moons behind people. That'll be the same thing behind Vampirella there. Now this should, in theory, look a lot, or at least somewhat darker than Vampirella's skin tone. I don't know if I'd have to mix red in there because the red underneath. Now that I think about it. But I might. We shall see. I don't know why. I didn't expect eggshell to be darker than cream, but maybe I just don't know my colors. What do we got here? Rob's back with a Vampirella. Her left hand looks like a Frank Kelly Fressus art the Queen used for News of the World. I have no idea. looks like the Frank Kelly Freyas art, the Queen, used for News of the World. Maybe that Queen used for News of the World. I can check it out. I got it. Yeah, that makes sense now. Yep. I gotta double check it. If so, then I'm in good company. It took me a minute. That's why I really should never leave an edit till later, because it just messes up the whole piece. I've gotten better at making them, but really, if I used to, when I was younger, really have some wonkiness in my anatomy, one of the biggest culprits, and I'm still guilty of it sometimes, is like changing the angle of something on the body posts, like laying out, well, not in the layout stage. It's like when I'm already like starting to get into actually like finishing the piece, and I'm like, oh, you know what, I think it would look better this way, and then, or I never finished the one piece of it, and then because I'm not still laying it out, it becomes a little hard to fix that on the fly like that. God, this is so different. I don't often do a lot of these. I've been working on toned paper more, which is probably what's making this a little bit easier, but you know, most of the time I work on white paper and then add to the color and the contrast, the tones, and rather than adding in highlights. This is more what you would consider subtractive. Although, not to toot my own horn, but I will say I do think it's peak artistic. I won't say mastery, but being able to adapt and use new mediums and stuff effectively, I think, that's a sign of something. Not what I am, though. I don't feel that I really constitute. Well, you know what? No. Maybe we're going to have a positive day. Maybe today I feel like, you know what? Yeah, I know what I'm doing, damn it. Why not? I don't know if I'm going to want to do some of this. The thing is, I don't want to, though. I just want them to kind of come out of the red like that, I think it's such a cool look. I have tried to do a painting twice of a goblin with red as the shadow tone, and I feel like both times I did not do it right, not to my liking at least. This, however, so far, very much to my liking. And if you disagree, I do not care. It's a good thing I'm not trying to please you. No, I'm joking. The out of pocket crap that I will say sometimes. Okay. They're looking all right. They're looking pretty good. Okay, so cream. Just want to make sure. Yes, cream is the lighter one. That is going to be the color of Vampirella's skin. The cream color. God, this is so weird to do. But I like it. I like working like this. I have to say, I prefer it on the red paper than the black paper. I feel like, and not that that doesn't look good. I like the way that looks good. That I like the way this looks, but I like having a middle tone over like a overworking all of the tones up from black. But again, I've been working on toned paper more often, so I could see why this would be more appealing to me. I'm probably going to do, once I, finally get back to doing them on the regular, there are, even in the Chadiana series, which I know is something I don't talk about or do enough of lately, but except for a kid in the comic, she's back for season 3. But anyway, yeah, I have some planned Chadiana sequences with toned paper in the comic. I really think it'll look good for certain things. It would be fun to see me draw Viv from Legends and Lattes. Hang on a second. Viv, Legends. Maybe it's Legends and Lates, but I don't know. Oh my God. What do we got? That's a I think I've seen this before. That's a she's the I guess that she's the orc woman. Well, I did just do a half naked and all naked goblin female. So why not? You know? She's considerably more clothed. What exactly? Vampirella. I just want to make sure I got the it's gold, I'm pretty sure, but I don't draw her a lot, so I don't really know off the top of my head. And I just want to make sure. Yep, gold. We're good. No, I don't think. You know what? Spanish yellow might be the right one. Spanish orange. I'm sorry, not Spanish yellow. In a way, doing these with colored pencil makes my job a little bit easier. Why? Because, oh man, you bastard. I love it when that happens. Why do I like doing it with colored pencil? Well, because it's a little bit easier than having to mix all those all the colors for acrylics. Although, if I was smart, I'd be learning quite a bit of something about this process right now from doing it on toned red paper. And who knows? It may have an effect in the future on some of my acrylic paintings. I've never been, in that regard, confident enough to rely heavily on the colored pencil over the acrylics when I do that technique, but maybe it'll work. I felt like I was going to sneeze. It didn't happen. Talkative today again. That seems to be me. That's good though. It's better than the less talkative streams, I feel. I kind of like when I'm just a chatterbox. I think it's more entertaining for everyone else. It's like I always said, and I said this a long time ago when I started these, that it's kind of like when I was teaching online, during COVID, you kind of have to do it almost like you're on radio. You can't let there be too much silence. Although, that part of it, saying that for whatever reason is making me feel like I wish I was not going down to once a month on these. I do really enjoy doing them. It's just very challenging with my schedule. And I have to be taking better care of myself. In case anybody hadn't noticed, I don't have a Dr. Pepper with me. I'm drinking tea and my seltzer. So I'm going to be switching to more tea for caffeine during the day because I won't drink coffee past. I try not to do it past 10, but I definitely don't do it past 11 if I can help it, because I'm just afraid it'll screw with my sleep too much. I don't sleep well as it is. So, yeah. I still love Dr. Pepper. I will occasionally partake, but I definitely have to be taking better care of myself. I keep losing weight and then gaining it all back, and at some point, especially when you sit for a job, you want to make sure that you're not allowing yourself to get too stagnant. And I was having a conversation with somebody about martial arts over the weekend, actually, but people in the comic and art world don't really know that I was heavily into martial arts for a long time. Okay, what's next? Red Sonja's. I pretty much know these by heart, but I still don't draw her enough to be 100% confident. Yep, brown and gray or silver. We're good. Okay, now what's going to be the brown? Light umber? Decent. Oh my god. It snuck up on me. Bless you. Thank you. Sorry about that. Hope I didn't blow out anybody's eardrums. What is this one? Burnt ochre or sienna brown. Well, we're going to be doing a little bit of sharpening, people. I will put it in front of the camera so you can all see this happening. Hey, Dennis. Welcome to the live stream. Been doing these forever, and then here you are on one of the last ones I'm doing on Facebook. Gotta subscribe to my YouTube channel. What did you say about a cover? I gotta check this out. You've been meaning to message me about today about doing a cover. Yeah, we spoke about it. I kind of put a note in my I try to keep track of potential work I might have coming in, not as a promised thing, but just like, you might want to be aware that this job might be coming in, sort of thing. So, yeah, I made a note of that. I don't think that's going to be the right one either. But yeah, whenever you want to discuss more. Oh, wait a second. Oh my God, of course. I hate my laptop sometimes. There's no specific difference between the left click and the right click. What am I switching to? What am I switching to? Oh, YouTube. Let me put it up in a second. It's not that I'm switching to it. YouTube's always been there. Just at JM DeSantis. I just stream to both, but I do it using StreamYard. And unfortunately, I paid for StreamYard a year in advance, and then they decided they were going to raise their prices. Like, actually, it's more than double. It was like 12 a month, and now it's going to be like 36 a month or whatever. I'm not paying for that to do YouTube and Facebook. So I'm going to move it all over to my YouTube. I've been streaming to both all this time, so they'll just be on one. Sorry, Facebook, nothing personal. StreamYard's just being difficult here. Yeah, I keep forgetting to mention. That's okay. I wasn't blowing you off by the yeah. I know my tone sounded sarcastic, but it wasn't. Wait, new comments. What do we got? What's my channel called? It's just at JM DeSantis. Nothing specific. I think the channel would just be under JM DeSantis. That's going to be too dark. That brown is going to be too dark. What was that one? Was that the burnt ochre? Okra? Okay. Maybe this is the one we used then. Won't be perfect, but oh, that is the one. No, that should be light enough. That should be giving me zero trouble. Because the red, though, that's going to make it a bit of a challenge. YouTube channel called. We already got that. Yeah. Again, just YouTube channel at JM DeSantis. Why am I seeing something that says 100? Oh, there we go. That's why I got to scroll down. We used Streamlabs, but doing both Twitch and YouTube cost like 100 a year, I think. 100 a year is not bad. You know, I could move over to Streamlabs if it'll do Facebook as well. I mean, that could save me. Because I'm not paying. I'm not going to pay like 400, 500, whatever dollars it'll turn out, because it's what, $36 a month? I don't know what that'll translate to. Over 400 though. I'm not paying that. I mean, if I was some mega star streamer, then, you know, what would I care? But I'm not. I was going to actually do YouTube and Twitch and my personal Facebook, but I don't know. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Dennis, but I was pretty sure that Twitch will ban you if they find out you're streaming to more than one platform. I'm not trying to like out you here in case somebody is like watching from the company and they're like, oh, track them down, shut them down. But yeah, that's what I've heard. My brother does Twitch streaming. Yeah, they upped it, so it's $189 a year. $189 a year. I have to think about it. I have to think about that. That's possible. But I'm going down to once a month too. I'm doing these weekly. I've done them mostly weekly. There's been some hiccups throughout I don't know, 2 years I've been doing it now, which is why it's only episode 70. But I think I started doing it in July of 2023. Sometimes I just needed days off and hanging out doing other things, but it's just too hard to keep up with the weekly schedule with my convention schedule and doing my whatnot shows and everything else. So unfortunately, the fun one is the one that has to go for now. If and when anything becomes more lucrative than it is, then I can revisit this whole plan someday. All right. So what was the deal here? Eggshell was Sonia. I'm gonna have to layer her with some red though. All right. I'm sure you got it. Technically, yes, but they don't care about small fish. Yeah, I assume that's the Twitch response. Yeah, so I don't know. I can't out my brother, but what he does because he keeps it private, but he does stream he doesn't do it as much as he used to, but I don't know if he's a small fish. He's definitely not like a mega streamer though, but he has had and maybe still has an audience. But he teaches, so he just tries to keep it like separate. I don't even know I think I've figured out based on just some of things from our lives together as children and knowing what he names things. I think I've figured out what his Twitch channel is, but I don't even know what it really is, like his actual username and everything. He's very hush hush. He'd probably freak if he knew I was even mentioning that he streams, but I am a talker, if nothing else. Let's see. You wish you had time to stream my own stuff. You'd go back to reading bedtime stories. Why don't you do that, though? There's probably a market for it. I'm sure not enough people are doing it. Well, it was definitely more popular during the COVID days and before. But it's really got me in a panic right now. I don't think I have a gray colored pencil. I know that I can layer white and black. That's not the problem. The problem is I don't have a gray one for just ease of graying. And why not? Because I don't usually have to do gray on toned paper. Oh, yes. Mistakes have been made in my colored pencil purchases. Maybe I should. I don't like colored pencil gray, though. I gotta be honest. You literally have no time. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I can understand that. I do. God, how am I going to do this? It's going to be like my least favorite thing to do right now. I got to make sure that the black is not too dark so that it can mix with that white. I'll probably add some Blew into it at some point too, but God, so poorly planned. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The thing is, normally I would just layer black lightly, but you know what? Red ain't white, so it kind of doesn't work. It kind of doesn't work. Ah, man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I hope this works though. Oh, again, I'll layer in the blue with it. I think half the reason Dennis saw this and other people are seeing this video is like Facebook's like, oh, he was talking about not streaming to Facebook. Maybe we should boost him up in the algorithm. And then you know what's going to happen. If I did decide to like stream back to Facebook as well, it'll just disappear. People won't see it because that's the way it works. I know all your tricks, Meta. I know you're false. Huh. Traps. Forgotten me to stream Facebook. If that's what's happening. Sounds a little paranoid now. I don't know. Well, it is mixing correctly. I'm happy to report. Not giving me the texture I want, but that's why we will layer over it afterwards. At least we're getting the gray. Huh. There we go. Okay. Okay. All right. So, yeah, we got Sonia's. Oh my God. Oh, it's gotta be. Not that I'm allergic, man. Sometimes her fur can be a bit too much for me. Wow, we've been at this long, huh? Oh, I gotta go in there. All right. I prefer cool grays in most instances. Not 100% of the time, but I don't know. Warm grays are not as much my thing. Some people love warm grays. Not my thing. Not my thing at all. All right. All right. Yep, there we go. Starting to come together. Now I've gotten quieter. But it's mostly because I'm trying to make sure that this metal looks right to me. That front of the plate, that was going to have more white in it for sure. Just to differentiate its angle from the rest of the piece. I also think I could move some of this gray up into this section here. So I'm going to go in with go in with a little bit of black again over there. Oh, damn. I never did the pommel. I didn't really do the bits of chainmail either. I went over it with black, but I never went in with the white. Probably need some more black in some of these spots. And I said I had to do that over here too. All right, so getting back in here with some whites. Normally, I love doing armor. Right now, I'm going to do all this layering rather than mark making. Actually, I'm still enjoying it. What am I saying? It's a lot of fun to do. Got that blue back in here. So is it a commission for someone? No, Rob, I'm doing them because I had offered all of my sketch covers up for commissions. And in typical JM DeSantis fashion, not one person claims them. So I am going to fill them out with some artwork and hopefully sell them as completed sketch covers. So yeah, I don't know what it is. And it's not, I just don't seem to have a lot of luck when I mention that commissions are open. I get commissions. I just don't usually get responses when I say commissions are open. Message me for commissions. I don't know why that is, but so yeah, I'm filling these all out as if they were commissions and then going from there. I mean, technically anything that hasn't been claimed, I could still take commissions on, but I don't expect there to be some rush to get those now at this point. The idea is to bring them to Heroes Con because I hear that in North Carolina, that convention is very much like a place where people buy original art. It won't be all I have with me, and here's the thing, if they don't sell at Heroes, even if most of them don't sell at Heroes, I'll still have them for other shows. And anybody that's interested in one can certainly claim it before I go to Heroes. It's not like they're exclusively for that show. Canary yellow might be necessary just to get a little bit of a highlight in this area. Man, these gloves really fought to stay as buried in the background as possible. I don't like to toot my own horn, but considering I don't give myself enough credit sometimes, I gotta say, I'm very, very pleased with this one. I'll take a scan of it, of course, but I'd almost not want to sell it off. Almost. I know that I'm still going to have to go in with some what is that stuff? acrylics, but yeah, man, I just really like the effect of that. The amount of time I've had to put into it, though, I probably will not be able to get. Well, that's not true. I'll get a good price for it, but it might not be. This could be one where I have to do it a little bit under. That's burnt okra, but that's not the one I want. I was looking for that's sienna brown. Where's my burnt sienna? I swear all those browns were just here a moment ago. I had these. Wasn't this one? No. That one's possible. That one could be better, but I think that's the one that didn't work out. Losing track. What is this one? Don't know. Not going to be good enough. Oh, wait a second. Ooh. I got something here. And now what was I going to use it on? Oh yeah, right. No, that won't work. Swiss made, totally different. Okay. Yeah. Is it going to work? Not well enough, but it'll give us a little bit of something. Okay. Yes. 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 Man, I really do not love. I thought the gloves would stand out better than they are. Dun, 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 dun. I guess they're doing okay. They're not in bad shape. What did you say? You looked, you don't see a Cthulhu blank. Wait, you looked and you don't see a regular, like Cthulhu comic blank? I can tell you what I do have. And I was saving these for the end if I can get through enough of these other ones. The original first Gentleman Cthulhu, I have blank covers. I have blank covers of the original Chadiana. And I have blank covers of the first Cthulhu. And they were all hand numbered too. I sold a couple off at one point when I was offering them up. And yeah, you know. just want her skin to have a little bit more red in it. I feel like for a redhead, Sonia should have a reddish tone. Okay, let's see this one, right? Put the pencil sharpener. Oh, you know what I never did? Her stomach. Man, I do really like how this one's turning out. What am I doing? Her stomach. So what do we got? I'm forgetting now. She's eggshell. Yes. Okay. How did I forgot that whole part of her body there? Okay. Hit it with a little bit of that red. Not too much. All right. What's next? What's next? A little bit of what would otherwise be underwear, I guess. I'll make that a little more noticeable because I can. Maybe I want the shape of the pommel to stand out a little bit more. So put some more orange in these places. And then back to the whites. Because I forgot to fill that in. And then a little bit of blue in here again. Right, where is that? All right, skulls. Oh, and her boots, man. I'm just messing up left and right here. All those things I'm forgetting. Okay. So the skulls, I don't want them. Oh, light peach. Wow, you jerk. Maybe you should get in there with a little bit of that now. Yeah, that would have been helpful earlier. How did you not know you had that one? Well, you weren't looking. That's why. Welcome to JM DeSantis talking to himself while he chastises himself for not having the right color in his hand. I still love how it's coming out though. So, you know, giving myself credit where it's due. Okay. Good. Now she looks just a little bit more pink skinned, which is what I was hoping for with her. Right. Right. Okay. So yeah, color of the skulls. Well, now I don't have to worry so much, but I'm pretty sure I have a light gray. Yes, I do. I have a French gray, which is probably what I'm going to use for the skulls. That's the only gray I do have, and it's not really, it's kind of a warm gray actually. Going against my my preferences here. Okay, so I'll probably leave these just not outlined. That probably would work in my favor as far as how readable the skulls will be. Mhm. Versus the rest of the stuff in the image. This is making me want to just take a whole piece of illustration board and paint it red and then just start working over the top of that. Mhm. I'm just surprised that it came out so good. Well, not, I don't want to say surprised. I just, because I had a plan. I just really like how the plan worked. Mm-hmm. 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 Do 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 do. Mm-hmm. 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 Ooh. Yeah, that's really turning out good. I like it. So here's the thing. I'm gonna have to do it with acrylics later, but just to give it a little bit of something for the moment. Just gonna paint right over all of this. But that is all going to be white acrylic, which might be the next step tonight because I got to do that gunslinger spawn too. All right, let's make it happen. Yeah. One one that's half full. I apparently bought two of these palette papers completely separate of each other. And so I got a lot of palette paper to use. Looking for my titanium white. All right. Now, normally, I don't put my acrylic paints at a 45-degree angle like this. I usually lay them flat, but you know what I could do? Man, this is going to be like the messiest thing I've ever done with acrylics, just shoving them right there on top of all that. Don't need a lot. All right. And what? Hang on. How come that one looks like it's got color in it? I'm gonna have to rewash that brush. Okay. Gonna use something a little bit more precise today because we're working on little bits. All right, let's finish the spawn first because if I mess this one up, I'll be less unhappy about it. I really like how that Red Sonja and Vampirella is coming out. Yes, I'm probably going to have to layer it, but that's how we do it. Acrylics in the studio here. And titanium white doesn't like perfectly cover things. It usually needs more than one layer. Anytime I try to use acrylics in a completely opaque way, I always wind up not able to move the brush properly. So I just tend to like to work in a way where I'm more fluid. Oddly enough, since I like drawing very angular, but I do need some fluidity to my paints. Okay. Yep, gonna have to let it dry a little bit. Much better though. Already coming out better. All right. Red Sonia and Vampirella. Time to. Actually, this might have been something to do earlier in the painting or the piece so that I knew what the lightest part was going to be, but you know. Not always the way I work. Actually, it's a big reason why I outline things first, is at least gives me a decent idea of the full range of tones in a piece, rather than waiting to outline after the watercolors are down when I do my watercolor stuff. I don't like these marks though. Did I use a template or stencil to make that circle? No, I don't believe I did. Although I have been using stencils more often for circles that I want to be more circular, but I've never been the type. Just like I hate rulers, I just don't usually go in for stencils or templates or whatever. I try to freehand it all. It either adds the charm of my style or it's one of the things that people hate about it. Either way, I don't care. I'm still doing it the way I want to. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have patience for that kind of stuff. Although, I get it. They're great tools. I just personally can't stand using them. I hate having to take an extra thing out that slows down my process. But of course, there are times when it's necessary, which is why I'm trying to warm up to using them occasionally. Again, this is going to get more than one layer of white to make it one more opaque and two cover up all those marks because I don't want those marks on this. And I always say you don't have to keep a piece of paper straight up if you don't want to. And I have an easier time making those curves from this angle. So this is how I'm doing it. It's a big reason why I don't tape down my paintings either. I need some, I guess if I tape them down to a board, I can move the board around, but I don't know. I have so many unorthodox ways of working. I haven't found taping down a piece of artwork really keeps it from bubbling anyway. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's never worked out in my favor, at least. Whoops. Now, this little bit of moon underneath her arm is very important because it just establishes enough of the thickness of that arm so that the viewer's imagination can fill in the rest. Just enough. Just like the bits of hair coming from this side do the relatively the same thing. Do, 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 do. $6,000. That's what I want for this. No, that's not true. I don't have any pieces that much. I should start thinking about that. But no, I wouldn't do this for 6. Wouldn't even do it for 1, honestly. Actually, I don't mind those some of those strokes now, but now that it's all filled in, but I probably shouldn't leave it there. I want it to have a little bit more of a uniform look. Like the moon here. This one's all done. I was doing a lot less lines on it, but I just want to make sure I tried doing it with the paint markers, honestly, but the paint markers cannot do good coverage in a large area. So, as I found out with this moon, so I have to go in with a paintbrush and acrylic paint. Actually, it might need a 3rd coat because that black is not easy to cover. Although, on the flip side, seeing a little bit of difference in the tones and the white would lend itself to being like the texture of the actual moon when it's in the sky, since it doesn't usually look completely white unless it's a very, very cloudless night and the sun is hitting that thing at like such a good angle from where compared to where you're seeing it. Then you're going to get a pretty bright moon. I think. I actually don't know the full science behind that, but I do know that's part of it. So that sounds right to me. It looks really bright on the paper, like, but you know, there's some texture there. I might leave it textured. Both of them look great. Thanks, Dennis. Oh, you're still here. I didn't know if you were locked in to this tonight. But thanks. I appreciate you staying and watching this. You're the Bob Ross of painting geeky background, but I've been told the way I talk on these things, I'm like the Bob Ross of the live streams. Oh, that cat. Oh, I love her so much. Even when she's not here, she's always with me. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't always have something to say. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I just try to talk as much as possible during these. Sometimes it's just thoughts coming out of my head, which can be easy for me, but every once in a while I gotta watch myself because, I might say something that would get me in trouble, like just talking smack or whatever. So, like saying how Brian, I don't know, I can't think of anything. I was going to try to make a joke and now I can't. I don't want to, on a live stream, I don't want to get anybody to hear something and then clip it and then it's like, oh. No, but if I let myself go too freely, I start saying things like, how I wish the superhero genre would die off, That'll get me in trouble. Yeah. Whoops. Anyway. Not die off. Let me just correct myself. See, that's why I would say something like that, but I don't mean it. I just wish there was, and I've said this very candidly, I wish there was more room for a lot of other things. Superheroes are a bit boring for me. I don't want to say I grew out of them because I think you can be into whatever you want at whatever age you want, but, not my thing. Where's the cat? The cat right now I have her hair in my mouth, which I'm choking on, but I don't know. She was up here before, but she seems to have walked away. Why can't I get your thing up right now? Stream of consciousness is always good skill in streaming. Yeah, I just got to be careful what the stream of conscious is. Because I do just say things sometimes. Like a thought comes to my mind and I'll spit it out before I've had time to, consider it. Some people would say I'm an AH. Other people would just say I'm honest, but yeah, I just, because I would just talk industry stuff and I would start, throwing hands is what would happen. Throwing down the gauntlet and shit. What do we got there? The genre feels at times like it has run out of it's not that. I don't know. I'm very big on making new things. Like and I believe you are too. I think we've talked about it. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I love Tolkien. I don't want to see an endless stream of Tolkien fan fiction. I like that it's finite. Yeah, I wish he wrote more. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It's even like I love Conan too, but I'm not about to buy every single Conan story ever written, I like the Robert E. Howard stuff, like the movie adaptations, even the Jason Momoa one. but I consider adaptations a completely different thing. But yeah, I don't know. I just see this is where I'll get myself in trouble. I feel that anybody working in the superhero genre now, unless it's like, if Rob Liefeld went back to working on Deadpool because he created it, I just feel like so much of it is just like paid fan fiction, you know. And that's my thing is like at some point it just, I don't know. Can't you guys just make new superheroes? My argument was, and everyone who I ever said this to, usually their brains took a big crap, and I think they wanted to like fight me, but they liked me too much to do that. But I would always say like Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, which I personally love. I understand that other people don't. But my whole thing would be like, just for argument's sake, what if that was Batman? What if Batman was just like 3 stories, trilogy, open and shut story from beginning to end? Not that I think Batman should be that short or that should be the whole story. I would make the argument to, I think from a storytelling standpoint, which is what I usually come at these with, I think it's just better. I think it has more of an effect on the reader. I guess I just don't, even though I'm like with my Chadiana series, I'm leaving uh, the series open for additional stories told within the confines of a certain timeline in her story. I just don't want to see, I don't want to see like anything become so much of a commodity that story is sacrificed for a product, you know. And that's really what it is. I don't like the stuff becoming just a product. I would like to see the characters evolve and, things happen with permanence, you know. Could you imagine a Lord of the Rings reboot and they decide that, you know what, we're going to have Sam lose his finger this time. It's not going to be Frodo. I just feel like that's what superheroes have become. Yeah. So, wait, was that the last one? Yeah. So that's kind of where I stand with it, But then again, don't get me wrong. I've always said if one of those companies wanted to hire me to do something, I'm certainly going to take the work. I'm just not like in love with the genre, I fell out of love with it a long time ago. I like the film adaptations of some stuff. I haven't seen a lot of them though. I'm like, it's weird because I'm going back to Batman. I love seeing Batman movies. I'll watch Batman movies until I die. Good, bad, or indifferent. Everything else, I don't think I care too much. Unless they put out another Spawn or another Ghost Rider movie, although those have had some arguable successes. Well, Hellboy too. Although I haven't seen The Crooked Man because it just went to streaming and I never got a chance to see it. I should put that in my to-do list. If they made a Goon movie, I would totally go for it. I wish I had been into the Goon earlier, but here we are. Okay, I think I've done enough on that moon. Now I might add some highlights in here with some acrylic pens for sure, but I feel like this one needs a little bit more doctoring just because that black is so hard to cover. So anyway, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that, as I have just said it now, that if I'm not careful, I'll just start like, without thinking, just crapping all over a whole area of an industry I work in and then probably get myself blacklisted unintentionally. Because again, I don't really hate superheroes. They're just not my cup of tea. I'm not really into romantic comedies either. Not making the comparison between the two, I'm just saying, empty calories and no thought behind it. What's that? Okay. But that's the kind of thing where if I'm not careful, I'll start not watching what I say. Like now. But I was a little bit more thoughtful of it, somewhat. I want to start telling like stories of things that have happened at people's tables, stuff I've heard people saying, or incidents. Well, not incidents, but run-ins with people in the industry and that sort of thing that I shouldn't say on a live stream. So that's why I gotta be just a little bit of self-editing sometimes. All the good stuff, people are gonna be like, what the hell is he talking about? I wanna know. I don't know. Guess you just have to come see me at a show. Ask me for a story. I'll tell you one. Anyway, all right. That looks a little bit better. It's still not 100% covered, but it's less poopy to me. Okay. All right. These two need some highlights now. Okay. Now for the good stuff. Wow, we're going a little bit later. I usually end at 10. Not always, though. So what's it going to be here? Good question, because I got to figure out what colors would go best. Let's check out this orange here. Might work out. I do it in front of the camera just so there's some action going on while you're waiting for me to draw something. All you people out there in TV land. Let's see. That might not be the orange I want. That's the one thing. These caps are not very accurate. Which one's orange? Which one's tan? We don't know until we try them out. This one might be the orange one. Yep, it's sort of a little bit more orange than the other one. Okay, so Sonia needs a little bit of highlights in her hair. Now, she is looking very stark right now, but trust me, there are other highlights to go on, and that will even it all out. I just really wanted to get her hair in first. Okay. Oh, wait, Rob's back with something. What do we got? I'm off to watch Pistol on Twitch. You have a great night too, Rob. Pretty soon I'm going to start posting these on social media too. What the final results of them are. This is actually like a silver pen. which will help with some of the metallic look, but I'm still going to need some white on it. Okay. How do I want to do this? Carefully. Since I just went off on superheroes and stuff, I do have to say it's kind of a weird thing that I even got into comics having that opinion, but I've had that opinion for a long time, well before I got into comics. In fact, what got me back into liking the idea of doing comics was, and I think I've said this before, I had a college professor that, I mean, I kind of knew a little bit because of like stuff like Crimson and Battle Chasers and such, but which I grew up on. But I had a college professor that had showed me and insisted on some of the other stuff because he was from England originally, though he worked for Marvel doing some cut-in stuff, for a while. But yeah, he showed me some other stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, comics could be about more. And oddly enough, I don't give it enough credit, but the video game Vagrant story, which used I was also getting into manga too, but yeah, the video game Vagrant story, which had um, and I may have mentioned this a long time in another video, but it had the dialogue pre-voiceovers, was all told in these little like voice bubbles, like a comic or a manga. So I was like, oh, images and text. I like that. So that's to say, I love a lot of things about comics, the medium of comics. But a lot of times it stops there with specifically the medium and not some of the industry stuff that I don't necessarily love. I guess in that way, I've always been like a true indie guy because I like the stuff that's not necessarily mainstream, I bring up Hellboy a lot, but, I didn't, when I first saw his stuff when I was younger, I didn't love Mike Mignola's work, but when I got older and I learned to appreciate it, he became like a standard for me. I'm like, oh, this is something else you could do with comics too. It doesn't even have to be a monthly book. And I don't love the idea of monthly books either, but that'd be a whole other story. I just don't feel like it is conducive to quality. But yeah. Today's the day I burned my career down with stupid stupid admissions on a live stream. No, I'll be okay. I think. You know what I didn't do? I didn't color in Red Sonja's eyes. But here's a question. I'm pretty sure oh, damn it, you dumbass. How did that happen? How did that happen? It dripped out. It dripped out. Well, I will figure out what to do there in a minute. It's kind of like stuck on there, isn't there? Well, not to worry. I'm professional. I'll figure that one out. But anyway, yeah, that's somebody telling me to shut up. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, I forgot to put color into Red Sonja's eyes. I think they're green, but I don't remember. Red eye color. Really? Oh, makes sense. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. What am I trying to do next? Brown. See, that's not going to look right. Maybe I should use the lighter brown color. Yeah, that's probably a good one to use. At least I'll get this stuff to show up a little bit better. Mm-hmm. That yellow is going to bother me until I can get rid of it. The question is the color of this? See, it's white in between. I don't know how deep that red goes. What I would do is just scrape it off with a X-Acto blade, which may still be the way I got to go. But I don't want to reveal white underneath because then that's going to require some more stuff. Worst comes to worst, I can try to match the color with some acrylic. Confident I can do that. But I'd like to not have to. It would be easier if I could scrape it off. I will not be adding extra highlights to the bones, though. Well, the skulls. Mostly because I don't want them to show up as much as the other stuff. Oh, that really made a difference with these gloves, though. I'm happy that that worked out. Actually, the yellow doesn't look bad there. It just doesn't belong there. So it's going to bother the crap out of me. Let's see. Let us just see what the chances are that this will be an easy job over a difficult one. It's looking promising. Know what I should do, though, just in case. I don't want any part of the blade touching any other part of this artwork. Now, if you're going to use this trick, you want to make sure you don't really dig into the paper, because, as I said, I'm pretty sure this is white at its core, and it's just red printed on the top of a white paper, so I don't want to reveal the white underneath. I'd rather have a touch of yellow where it doesn't belong than get that white out and having to go right over the top of it with some acrylic paint and try to match this, because that would be a lot of work. But for anyone watching this for art advice, don't panic. Whenever you're doing artwork, don't panic, even if you feel like you messed something up. Learn to roll with those punches. Now, if I really can't get low enough, what I may decide to do is see if I got a red colored pencil. Not that one. This crimson one, maybe? It's not going to be perfect, but oh, no, wait. There's one that's really rusty looking. And that's the one I want. And it's not in this bin. Okay. Hear all that falling on the floor? I don't know if it could be that pencil I'm looking for. Nope. Well, it exists somewhere in here. I'll tell you what would be useful. Honestly, a little bit of brown in there too. You know, it's coming out. It is slowly being covered, almost to the point where you don't know it's there. But we're gonna move on. Come back to it. All right. Red Sonia, green eyes. Okay, let's get a little green highlight in there. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. This one is a little bit more of a skin tone. Yes. Okay. So we might need to blend a little bit though, because I don't know that I want it to be that light. Doing it with my fingers? Yes, I am. It's just easier than other methods for me. And I've kind of learned how to do it for the most part. That didn't bring out anything. Okay. I've learned to do it delicately enough that I can get a certain look with it properly. Okay. Now, I might want this to get a little bit more of a hard edge. Oh, but then, yeah, what do I need here? All right. I might need a little blending in there. Oh, you know what I forgot to do is like right over her eyes with these eyelids. Well, we will make that work in a bit. Might also want to put just a little bit of a highlight on the nose on that side, but not a full highlight, like going with that eggshell. Make it somewhat like a middle tone, so it's different from the one on the left side of her face. Well, not her left, but left in the picture. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm humming, but it sounds good. Okay. Okay, yeah. So what do I need? Eggshell? Where is that? Oof. Underneath. Oh no, I don't want eggshell. No, I don't. No, I don't. I found that light peach, and that's what we're using. That makes it a little bit better. Yeah, I just feel like her face is getting lost a little bit. Did it? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Pretty good. Those highlights bringing her out. Okay. Now here's the question. Do I give Vampirella the same treatment? I don't know that I want to. I do want to make her outfit look a little bit more leathery. So something like this might work really good. Same thing down here. Doodly doo doo doo. There is a signature there, but it's very. You know what? Should I do it in the pink? Yeah, that's gonna be a little bit. Certainly gonna stand out more that way. dude. Do-do-do. These aren't quite as good as Posca's, but I bought them first on recommendation just to see how much I liked acrylic pens before I started. Well, paint pens is what everybody calls them, but paint markers, right? Yeah, a little bit better. Okay. What am I trying to do here now? I do need white highlights on a couple of things. Armor. Eyes. That sort of thing. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. And then Red Sonia with some of the same treatment, especially on the armor. Man, I'll tell you, I wonder how that Ghost Rider is going to come out. Because I love painting fire. And I really like how these toned comic covers are coming out. I was going to leave them till last, and I'm kind of happy I didn't. Because they're looking pretty good to me. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, there goes that. I might be done. I don't know. I have to decide. I have to think about it a little bit, which means probably sleeping on this one a little bit, but I'm probably not going to outline those skulls. I like them being not outlined. What I do want to do though, very last thing. Well, this might be one of my longest streams. I don't know if I've ever gone 3. Maybe I've gone 2 hours and 45 minutes before. Not that I'm trying to like beat a record or whatever. I just damn. Just wish this one would cooperate. I would like to give a little shape to those scars, but it means making an edge on them. Let's see. Well, if I go this way, damn. Can I get one on my face? Yeah, lean in a little bit here. Sorry for my chin in the camera, everyone. Just really want to make sure I got that one right. Okay. Yeah. So now they're going to look a little bit. I got this one up here. Anywhere else? I'll give that belly button some shape though. Hang on a second. Where is it? Eggshell? Yeah, we'll use the eggshell this time. Okay. Whew. A lot of work, this one. Yeah, that might be pretty close to done, if not done. Using the reds as the shadow and just bringing up all the other colors. I would love to do more pieces like this, honestly. That's a lot of fun. Ooh, wait, you know what I could do? Erase the rest of that. Erase the lines off of that sword on this side. And I was able to fix that drop of yellow enough that I barely remembered it was there. So, you know, that was a win. Let's see, because I want that. I want the color and shapes to define where that sword is. Same with a couple other lines down there. I'll leave the skull lines in because why the hell not? That's not hurting anything. Everything else, though, comes out. All right, yeah. So again, there we go. Subscribe to that YouTube channel right there. Yeah, using the positive space colored red as the negative space and shadows worked out pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'll scan it, and hopefully someone will want to own this. Maybe even before Heroes, but if somebody picks that up, if this is the only one that goes at Heroes or before, I would be pretty happy about that. I'm really in love with this one, but I'm sure everybody's got their favorites so far. Got 4 done in 2 weeks, I think, 3 weeks, something like that. Anyway, so I will be back next week on Tuesday. I am not doing a what is that thing? A whatnot tomorrow. It's my dad's birthday, so anybody that doubles up. I don't think I have a crossover in my audience though. But yeah, I'll be back in 2 weeks with whatnot. Next week with a live stream. About 2 more before it's over on Facebook, unless I choose. I gotta write down Dennis. Put in the comments as a backup here. Maybe I should do that. You're still here? What did you say? What was that backup? That other thing I could use instead of StreamYard. Oh, I gotta search. Unless you put it in the comments, Dennis. Again. Oh, what was it? Switching to... Oh, right. It's somewhere over here. Streamlabs. Okay. I might take a look at it. Oops. Clicked on the wrong one. I might take a look at Streamlabs in the future, but for now, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, anyone? Because if you want to get these, again, they're going to be going down to monthly instead of weekly just because my schedule, but maybe next year when I'm not working every weekend or just about. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, take care, everyone. Have a good weekend, and come see me at Steampunk Alchemy this weekend if you're going to be around. Bud Lake, New Jersey. Oh, thanks, Dennis. I'll get you back over there, too. And, yeah, everyone have a great night. See you next time.